welcome back to another Embodied engagement. This is Kate Crouch, and today we're exploring Anne Appleby's A Hymn for the Mother. Anne Appleby lives in a remote area of Montana, and the collection is one of deep observation of the ecosystem the artist inhabitates. Anne Appleby is connecting and reconnecting with her own indigenous ancestral roots, and we'll be exploring our own ways of observation, meditation, and just the internal knowing that we have for the natural world. Man would like to acknowledge that we sit on the ancestral territories of the Salish and Pend Oreille people, and we respect the indigenous stewards of this land. MAB acknowledges these rich cultures as fundamental to artistic life in Montana and to the work of the Missoula Art Museum. We would also like to acknowledge that the filming is done through a grant and is being filmed by MCAT. The artist shares with us a poem from John O'Donohue. Somewhere out at the edges, the night is turning and the waves of darkness begin to brighten the shores of dawn. The heavy dark falls back to earth and the freed air goes wild with light. The heart fills with fresh, bright breath and thoughts stir to give birth to color. So our meditation and observation practice linking with art today, we're going to begin with this work of Appleby's called The Forest. Allow yourself to just let your eyes drift across the painting. Appleby uses a unique process of oil and wax to paint, which really begins to give both the depth of the forest as well as allowing the imagination to wander. Once you feel that you've given your eyes a good look across the painting, I just encourage you to notice that it feels almost like we're stepping within the forest itself. We're being enveloped and hugged in a way in this environment. Maybe you want to close your eyes or keep your eyes on the painting. So we begin to allow the natural senses, our connection with the outside world, our five senses, to begin to highlight and fill the body. For you, when you step into the forest, and in this particular forest, what smells do you think you could smell? Is it warm or cool? Is it day or night? How would the smells in the body change with the different time of day, with the different seasons? What sounds would you expect to hear? Maybe even a taste in the mouth. Are there any other sensations that begin to arise in the body? Do you feel hugged or do you feel cool? And what other sights might you see? Although this is a still life, perhaps you can imagine the different lives that are living within the forest. And as we connect with our memory of forest, start to notice memories that begin to arise. How does your body feel remembering these memories? And you can just let your mind wander and bounce from memory to thought to sensation and feeling. Connecting and re-looping back with Appleby's own memory of forest, her own connection. Take another few moments to just feel the sensations on the body and within. The memories, the warmth and coolness, the light, the dark. In this forest, we only have a gray scale. What colors immediately come up for you? In the absence of color in this painting, what do you yearn for? What feels revealed or unveiled? we're going to continue to work with our own internal introception of senses with the next two paintings. Here we have Appleby's first light paintings. The subtle colors begin to build and fade. We have our own internal circadian rhythms, our own introception and knowing when it's day and when it's night. Similar and different. Just noticing and watching the light change across Appleby's paintings here in her collection of First Light. And now we have Last Light. One of my favorite words is crepuscular, which is that in-between time between day and night. Similar hues with the warmth and coolness, the blending. What is your favorite memory of Last Light? Our next meditation is on observation. Here we have chokecherry, which are minimalist highlights of color from a chokecherry plant. And I'd encourage you not to just see these as their own individual colors, but how they would blend together to create this natural object of a chokecherry. Through the seasons, we can see the different hues of how both the berry as well as the leaves and stem and bark would change. For our deep observation, we're going to start to notice things in your own natural world. What are some different hues and colors around you right now? Beginning with just looking around your own space. Maybe you see a plant that you have in a windowsill, or maybe you are able to look out the window. And I just encourage you to take a deeper observation of this natural object. It could be a rock as well. Anything that's in your space. And if you want to pause and go and find something, that could be a really fun way to layer in for this practice. Looking at your object, notice how many different shades of each color you can see. How many shades of green, how many shades of gray, and just take note of that. Looking at this small scale object, start to look outside. And maybe on your next walk, you can do the same practice. Sometimes I enjoy walking in the hills and just counting the numbers of shades of green that I can see. So far I've gotten to 15. So using this as a tool for your own meditative practice. As we continue our own observation practice, we're using this as a way of anchoring ourselves in our own natural environment, a way of more deeply connecting with the world around us. Here we have the river. Notice all of the different hues and shades and green that go into this. As we were just practicing, thinking about how we can count different shades, here the artist has combined all of these different hues, textures, from very small to wide, long swaths of green, adding and subtracting color, giving it a really subtle motion and movement of water. So for your own practice, maybe choose an object or a tree or a plant to observe over time, using that as a way of anchoring yourself to the natural world. It could be a tree that you pass on your daily commute, or maybe you have a walk that you take weekly. Start to watch this tree or this plant or this area. Notice who else visits. As we were imagining with the forest, who could be the other visitors in our landscape? Start to notice who the visitors are befriending your tree or your plant or your area. Start to watch it over the week, the month, maybe even the years. You can even pick up a journal and start to journal just about your one plant or area, visiting and revisiting. It could be your garden, or it could be out in the forest. Begin to interlace and layer all of these different practices. What sensations come up? What do you notice both internally? What do you have your introspection of? How can you connect both with your own natural world and the world around you and internally, using the artist's basis of her observations as a jumping off point? Thank you so much for joining for Embodied Engagement. I hope that you use these practices and return to them often.